Long before books were written, the sky told stories. Clouds, colors, and winds carried the whispers of the gods. Among those whispers, one tale endured, the legend of the Dawnstorm of Zeus. It was no ordinary storm, no thunder that shook the earth, no lightning that split the night. Instead, it came with sunrise. The horizon burned gold, and silver sparks wove through the morning mist. A storm, not of fear, but of wonder. A storm that carried a message, though few could understand. The people did not hide. They gathered. They listened. They remembered. Light danced across mountains and rivers, and in that glow, hearts began to change. This is the story I'll share tonight. A journey where clouds spoke, where mortals dreamed, and where Zeus's voice lived in dawn's quiet song. The night before it began was quiet, not the silence of fear, but a living stillness, as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting. The wind barely moved in the trees. The stars glimmered as always, yet their rhythm felt slower, deeper, like they were keeping time with something unseen. In a small village between hills and fields, people began to notice the sky. Farmers rose early. Shepherds walked their paths. But something felt different. It started with colors. Sunrises grew warmer, glowing with amber that lingered longer than memory could recall. Some said it was simply the season, but others wondered. Callias, a young shepherd, returned one morning and spoke of clouds shaped like wings stretching across the dawn. The baker's wife laughed kindly. She said he must have dreamed it, but Callias insisted. The wings were too perfect, too deliberate, drawn by an unseen hand. The next morning, silver threads glowed within the dawn, at first faint, then brighter, weaving the sky like a tapestry. Neighbors stood outside their doors. Children tugged at their mothers, asking why the sky shimmered, why it seemed to whisper. Whispers spread quickly. Some called it an omen. Others, a blessing. The oldest woman remembered stories of storms that carried Zeus's messages. In those days, gods were not distant ideas. They were felt in rivers, heard in thunder, seen in clouds. Zeus's whispers meant something to remember. Each morning more villagers gathered. The air was still. A bird's cry felt like a chorus. Footsteps echoed. The sky unfolded its quiet performance. Some said they heard it a hum, faint as leaves rustling, steady as a heartbeat. Not music, not words, but a rhythm alive in the air. Children spun beneath the shimmering light, laughing. Elders stood silent, hands clasped, eyes raised, waiting for the heavens to speak. On the fourth morning, the sign came. Clouds aligned as soaring eagles, vast and luminous, wings stretching across the sky. The villagers gasped. Some knelt in awe. Eagles were sacred to Zeus, his companions, his chosen symbols. Callias stood apart, eyes fixed upward. He felt the light pulling at him, calling, though he did not yet understand why. In his heart, he knew. The storm was not far away. The market buzzed with talk. Elders debated omens. The traveling oracle listened to dreams of silver rain, skies that whispered, voices on the wind. Yet no fear took hold, only anticipation. The world seemed to prepare a stage, setting the scene for a revelation. And in every heart, one thought grew stronger. Zeus was watching, not with anger, not with punishment, but with purpose. Soon, his message would unfold. The whispers of the sky reached beyond the village. They crossed hills and valleys, brushing against travelers on lonely paths. Among them was Lysandra, the oracle. She was known not for wealth or strength, but for her visions. Some called her a seer, others a dreamer, and some, those who feared what they could not explain, called her a fool. Yet everywhere she went, people shared their fears, their hopes, their strange dreams. And she listened. Always she listened. One night, she rested beneath an olive tree on the village edge. The air felt heavy, yet full of promise. Sleep came swiftly, and with it, a dream unlike any she had known before. She stood at the shore of a vast sea. The water was calm, glowing with silver light. Above her, stretched a starless sky. Bands of cloud shimmered faintly, woven from threads of dawn. Then came the sound, not thunder, but a resonance, deep and steady, vibrating through her bones. It was not a voice, yet it carried meaning. Words felt, not heard. Asterisk. The storm awakens. It does not strike. It guides. Asterisk. From the horizon, light rose radiant and soft. Shapes took form within it. An eagle, wings wide. An olive branch, bending yet unbroken. A circle of flame that warmed but did not burn. She reached out. The light dissolved into silver rain, falling as droplets that glowed on her skin. And in that glow, she understood. The storm was revelation, not destruction. When she awoke, the stars were still bright. Her heart raced. The dream clung to her like a song. At sunrise, she entered the village. People were already gathered, eyes lifted toward the horizon. When silver threads appeared, she spoke. Do you see? The sky carries more than beauty. It carries a message. The villagers listened. Her voice was calm and steady, filled with certainty. She told them of her dream, the sea of silver, the eagle and olive, the circle of flame, the glowing rain. Her words painted the dream so vividly that even children grew quiet, listening in awe. Some elders nodded. Others whispered, uncertain. Was it promise, warning, or test? Lysandra smiled gently. Zeus does not come to break us. He comes to awaken us. The storm is the beginning, not the end. Silence followed her words. Even the wind seemed to pause. Then children's laughter broke it, as the silver dawn shimmered brighter, as if agreeing with her. From that day, the people saw the storm differently. They no longer asked only what it was, but what it meant. They spoke of harmony, of guidance, of strength wrapped in gentleness. Lysandra remained with them. Each night she dreamed again of light, of water, of voices speaking without sound. And each morning she shared her visions. The people listened. They remembered. Slowly they began to believe. The Dawnstorm of Zeus was not only wonder, but a gift meant to guide their lives. The villagers spoke of the storm with reverence. But for one among them, the whispers were more than stories. For Callias, they were a call. Callias was not remarkable by birth. His father tilled the earth with patience. His mother spun wool with steady hands. He tended sheep on the hills. From his earliest days, Callias felt close to the sky. When others hid from thunder, he ran to watch the clouds. Lightning brought him wonder, not fear. He was the first to see wings in the clouds, the first to linger at dawn. And on the fifth morning, the storm reached for him more than ever. That morning, the horizon glowed brighter than any before. Gold and silver folded together. Sparks leapt silently across the sky, soft as playful lightning. The villagers gasped, but Callias stepped forward. He left his flock behind. The sparks danced above his head, pulling him onward. He climbed to the high meadow, where earth touched sky. The wind circled gently. The hum rose steady, like the heartbeat of the heavens. Callias closed his eyes. The hum filled him, and in darkness, he saw a river of light flowed from the clouds. It wound through the village, touching each soul, softening fears, brightening hearts. Above it, an eagle stretched its wings, sheltering them in light. When he opened his eyes, silver mist bathed the meadow. His sheep grazed calmly, as if part of the vision. The sparks faded, but the feeling stayed. That evening, Callias spoke by the fire. He told of the meadow, of the light, of the eagle. His voice was quiet but sure. Some listened with wonder. Others doubted. But Lysandra, the oracle, met his gaze. You were given a vision, she said. Zeus often speaks through the humble, those who walk close to the earth. The villagers murmured. Could their young shepherd be touched by the same power that shaped the dawn? Callias shook his head. It is not mine, he said. It is the sky's. It is Zeus's. I only saw what was given. Days passed. Children followed him to the hills, asking about the sparks. Elders asked what he felt in his heart. Each dawn, he returned to the meadow, watching, listening. waiting for the storm to speak again. Though still a boy with sheep, Callias became more. A bridge between villagers and storm, between the ordinary and the divine. And deep inside, he knew his part in the story was only beginning. The Dawnstorm had whispered its secrets. He would hear them first. The Dawnstorm lingered above the village, hearts filled with wonder, but also with questions. Why had the heavens revealed themselves? Why now? What meaning lay in sparks and golden light? The whispers grew louder. The villagers longed for guidance. And so, the Council of Elders was summoned. It was an old tradition, older than stone walls. Not a council of kings or warriors, but of wisdom. 7 elders gathered, each carrying not authority, but memory. Memory of storms, balance, and tales of the sky. They met beneath the great olive tree. Its roots reached deep. Its branches spread wide to shelter them. The people sat in silence around them. At the center was Lysandra, the oracle, calm and watchful. Theon, first elder, rose to speak, his voice steady as the river. We have seen the storm's face, but what lies within its heart? Marine leaned on her staff, her hair white as mist. Storms are not only warnings. Sometimes they are invitations. Dorian frowned in thought. But gifts from gods can lift us or weigh us down, if misunderstood. The crowd murmured, listening closely. At last, Lysandra spoke. Her voice soft, yet every ear heard it. This is not to frighten us. Zeus calls us to awaken. The words stilled the crowd. Then, the youngest voice was heard. Callias, the shepherd, was invited to speak. His voice trembled but clear. I saw light flow from the sky. It touched us. It lifted us. And above, an eagle spread its wings. Silence followed. Elders exchanged glances. An eagle, the eye of Zeus, the messenger of skies. Theron nodded. Then this is not just a storm, it is a promise, Mirren added. And a promise requires response. Zeus has opened the sky. We must open our hearts. The council sat long in reflection. Olive branches swayed above, whispering their own counsel. At last, Lysandra stood. The Dawnstorm is a gift and a question. Will we live as before, or let the light change us? The people stirred. The question belonged not only to the elders, but to all. Farmers, mothers, shepherds alike. The council gave no decree. They were guides, not rulers. Instead, they offered something greater than answers. They gave freedom, the freedom to listen, each for themselves. And so, the people carried the question home, into fields, into workshops. By the fire's glow, they wondered, each in silence. What would it mean to live as if dawn itself had chosen them? The sun set behind the hills. The olive tree stood quiet, leaves glimmering in fading light. The council dispersed, but their voices lingered in the air. The dawn storm shimmered still, patient and watchful, as if waiting for their choice. And Callias knew the choice would not rest with elders alone. The storm had chosen him too. His path was drawing him deeper into the mystery. The council had ended, but the question lingered. The villagers carried it into their homes, their fields, their dreams. Days passed. The Dawnstorm shimmered still. Its colors shifted, softer by night, brighter by dawn. Callias rose each morning before the Sunday. He climbed the high meadow, watching for sparks, listening for the hum of the heavens. One morning, the sky felt different. The air carried a sharpness, crisp and new. The light danced faster, like ripples across water. Callias knelt in the grass. He placed his hand on the earth. The hum grew stronger, rising through soil and stone. Then he saw it, a single olive branch, glowing faintly. Its leaves shimmered silver, though no sun had touched them. The branch bent in the breeze, though no wind blew. It pointed toward the village, as if guiding his eyes. Callias followed its direction. Smoke curled from chimneys. Farmers worked the fields. Children laughed in the distance. But above the village, the storm shifted. A line of light drew itself across the sky, bright and sure, like writing on parchment. Shapes formed waves, mountains, fire, and finally, the eagle. The villagers gasped as they looked upward. Elders gathered at the olive tree once more. "This is the first sign," Theron said, voice steady but low. "It is no longer only vision. The heavens have written their message." Marine traced the air with her hand. Waves, mountains, fire. Symbols of change, of trial, of rebirth, the people whispered. Were they to leave their village? Were they to face storms beyond their fields? Lysandra lifted her staff. Not all signs are commands. Some are mirrors, showing us what lies ahead if we do not listen. Callias spoke softly. The eagle remains. Its wings shelter us still. Perhaps it means we are not alone in what is coming. Silence fell. The people breathed as one, their hearts rising and falling with the storm's glow. Then a child, no older than 10, stepped forward. She pointed at the sky. "Look," she whispered. "The eagle is turning." The eagle's wings shifted eastward, toward the mountains that crowned the horizon. The first sign had not only been given, it had pointed away. The villagers stood in awe. The elders bowed their heads. Callias felt the truth stir within him. The Dawnstorm was no longer just a mystery to ponder. It was a path to follow. And the first step had been marked in the sky itself. The eagle had turned eastward. With it, the hearts of the people turned too. The mountains waited, veiled in cloud and mystery. No one knew why the storm chose that path, yet all felt it must not be ignored. The Dawnstorm had marked the way. The villagers prepared. Farmers set aside tools. Mothers packed bread, figs, and honey. Children asked endless questions, eyes wide with wonder. The council met again beneath the olive tree. Marin nodded. A journey is not for every hand. Some must guard the hearth. Others must follow the light. Eyes turned to Callias. The shepherd stood quiet, yet he knew. His answer was ready. "I will go," he said, his voice steady. "I have seen the signs. I must follow." Lysandra raised her staff. "You will not go alone." From the crowd, companions stepped forward. Theon, a fisherman with strong arms. Selene, a weaver with sharp eyes. And Phoebe, the child who saw the eagle turn east. The elders hesitated. But Phoebe's voice was clear. "The eagle showed me. If it called me, I must go." So it was decided. A small company would carry not only supplies, but the hopes of all who stayed. On the morning of departure, the village gathered. The Dawnstorm glowed silver across the fields. Lysandra blessed them. "Walk with the storm. Let its light guide your steps. Zeus does not send us without purpose." The company bowed their heads. Callias tightened his satchel. His sheepdog padded quietly at his side. They walked east. Their shadows stretched long in dawn's glow. The villagers watched until they vanished on the road. At first, the journey was gentle. Olive groves and wheat fields lined the path. The air smelled of thyme and rosemary. By midday, the land changed. Rockier ground, steeper hills. The mountains rose closer, peaks wrapped in mist. Callias felt the hum of the storm even here. It thrummed in his chest, urging him forward. Sometimes, when he closed his eyes, he almost heard words in the wind. By evening, they reached a stream. They rested, sharing bread and water. Selene hummed a song of journeys and safe returns. Phoebe leaned against Callias. "Do you think the eagle will meet us?" He smiled. "If it led us here, it will not abandon us. We will see its wings again." Night fell. They built a fire by the stream. Above, the Dawnstorm glowed faintly, its colors soft but unbroken. Theon stirred the fire. "I have fished the sea all my life. Never have I seen light like this. It feels alive." Selene nodded. "Perhaps the sky itself breathes. Perhaps we walk within its heart." Callias watched sparks rise into night, mingling with silver shimmer. His heart knew the truth. The journey had only begun. The mountains promised challenge and mystery. But Callias felt no fear. The Dawnstorm was with them, and wherever it led, they would follow. The eagle had turned eastward. With it, the hearts of the people turned too. The mountains waited, veiled in cloud and mystery. No one knew why the storm chose that path, yet all felt it must not be ignored. The Dawnstorm had marked the way. The villagers prepared. Farmers set aside tools. Mothers packed bread, figs, and honey. Children asked endless questions, eyes wide with wonder. The council met again beneath the olive tree. "We cannot all leave," said Theon. "The village must live, even if some depart." Marine nodded. "A journey is not for every hand. Some must guard the hearth. Others must follow the light." Eyes turned to Callias. The shepherd stood quiet, yet he knew. His answer was ready. "I will go," he said, his voice steady. "I have seen the signs. I must follow." Lysandra raised her staff. "You will not go alone." From the crowd, companions stepped forward. Theon, a fisherman with strong arms. Selene, a weaver with sharp eyes. And Phoebe, the child who saw the eagle turn east. The elders hesitated, but Phoebe's voice was clear. "The eagle showed me. If it called me, I must go." So it was decided. A small company would carry not only supplies, but the hopes of all who stayed. On the morning of departure, the village gathered. The Dawnstorm glowed silver across the fields. Lysandra blessed them. "Walk with the storm. Let its light guide your steps. Zeus does not send us without purpose." The company bowed their heads. Callias tightened his satchel. His sheepdog padded quietly at his side. They walked east. Their shadows stretched long in dawn's glow. The villagers watched until they vanished on the road. At first, the journey was gentle. Olive groves and wheat fields lined the path. The air smelled of thyme and rosemary. By midday, the land changed. Rockier ground, steeper hills. The mountains rose closer, peaks wrapped in mist. Callias felt the hum of the storm even here. It thrummed in his chest, urging him forward. Sometimes, when he closed his eyes, he almost heard words in the wind. By evening, they reached a stream. They rested, sharing bread and water. Selene hummed a song of journeys and safe returns. Phoebe leaned against Callias. "Do you think the eagle will mate us?" He smiled. "If it led us here, it will not abandon us. We will see its wings again." Night fell. They built a fire by the stream. Above, the Dawnstorm glowed faintly, its colors soft but unbroken. Theon stirred the fire. "I have fished the sea all my life. Never have I seen light like this. It feels alive." Selene nodded. "Perhaps the sky itself breathes. Perhaps we walk within its heart." Callias watched sparks rise into night, mingling with silver shimmer. His heart knew the truth. The journey had only begun. The mountains promised challenge and mystery. But Callias felt no fear. The Dawnstorm was with them, and wherever it led, they would follow. The mountains loomed taller with each step, their peaks hid in mist, crowned with silence and mystery. For days, the travelers walked eastward. The Dawnstorm shimmered above, humming through earth, wind, and heart. Callias felt the pull strongest. At night, he dreamed of wings brushing the mountainside, leading him on. Phoebe skipped beside him, her arms full of herbs. "The eagle will be waiting," she said. "I can feel it." The path narrowed. Jagged rocks jutted upward. The air grew thin and sharp. Selene steadied Phoebe's shoulder. By midday, they reached a wall of stone. It rose like a fortress stretching into mist, unbroken and cold. Theon dropped his pack. "This is the end. No path leads through. No man climbs this." Callias stepped forward. The hum inside him grew. He pressed his hand to stone. The Dawnstorm flickered above. Phoebe gasped. "Look!" The storm traced an eagle's wing across the wall, vast and bright. Selene whispered. "It is a gate." Light spread. Silver cracks etched themselves into the stone. Symbols appeared: waves, fire, mountains. Lysandra raised her staff. This passage asks more than strength. It asks for faith. Theon frowned. Faith does not break stone. Perhaps not, Callias said. But faith may open it. The company stepped forward. Each placed a hand on glowing rock. Even Phoebe pressed her small palm. The mountain groaned. Silver light flooded the cracks. With a sound like rushing water, the wall began to shift. The gateway opened. Beyond lay a passage of silver fire. Warm air drifted through, carrying the scent of olives and salt. Phoebe's voice trembled with awe. The eagle is waiting there. I know it. Lysandra nodded. We walk through. To refuse is to close the storm itself. One by one, they entered. Steps echoed against stone. Behind them, the dawnstorm dimmed, its light pouring into the gate. Callias lingered. He turned back once. The fields, streams, and home stretched far behind. Two worlds pulled at his heart. The sheepdog barked softly, urging him on. He breathed deeply, then stepped through. The gate closed in silence, fading into stone. The mountains swallowed them whole. Yet the glow remained. The journey now belonged to the secrets within. The mountains swallowed them whole, yet the silver glow of the dawnstorm remained. The passage wound downward, its walls smooth, as if shaped by unseen hands. The air was warm and humming. Callias led the way, his sheepdog close. Behind, Phoebe's footsteps echoed brightly. "The mountain is singing," she whispered. Their voices returned, layered and deep. Not simple echoes, but as if the mountain itself replied. Selene touched the stone. This place holds memory. Even silence has weight here. The tunnel opened into a vast cavern. Silver streams of light trickled down the walls, like frozen rivers. The chamber glowed without flame, a cathedral of stone shimmering in brightness. Theon whistled. "It's as though the stars have fallen into the earth." At the cavern's center lay a pool of still water, its surface smooth as glass. Callias knelt. The hum grew louder in his chest. He looked and saw not himself, but the eagle. Its wings stretched across the water, vast and luminous. Its eyes glowed like embers. The voice was inside him. "Do you seek the way? The storm opens paths, but not without cost." Callias whispered, trembling. "What must we give?" The pool rippled. Visions formed waves crashing, mountains breaking, fire sweeping fields, and a tree rooted in flame, yet alive. Phoebe clutched Selene's hand. "Trials," she said, "but hope too. The tree still stands." Lysandra lifted her staff. "These are truths, not threats. To follow the storm is to endure change." The echoes carried her words, repeating them with ancient weight. Theon frowned. "And if we fail?" The hum grew louder. Darkness filled the pool. Then the eagle rose again. Wings spread, driving shadows away. Selene whispered. "Failure is not the end. The storm rises again. Always." Callias touched the water. The vision dissolved. The cavern grew still. They stood in silence, turning the visions over in their hearts. Phoebe broke it softly. "We must keep walking. The eagle is still ahead." The far wall opened into another passage. Lysandra struck her staff to the stone. "Let the echoes keep our promise." Her words returned, layered and strong, as if the mountain spoke with her. The company moved onward. Silver streams lit their path, guiding their steps forward. Callias looked back once at the pool. It was still again, reflecting only light. Yet he felt the eagle's gaze linger, unseen but present. The cavern had spoken, and its echoes belonged to both past and future. The path was still open. The dawnstorm had not finished its song. The company left the cavern of echoes, entering a passage sloping downward. The hum faded. A new sound rose, water rushing faint and steady. The air grew cooler, touched with sweetness, like starlight's hidden scent. Phoebe tilted her head. "Do you hear it? A river in the dark." The passage opened into a vast chamber, wide as a valley. Before them flowed a river of silver, its surface alive with sparks like stars. Theon stepped forward, wonder in his voice. The night sky poured into a stream. Selene's eyes reflected its glow. It carries the breath of the heavens. Lysandra raised her staff. The water brightened. This is the river of starlight. Few have crossed. The current was wide and strong, too much to swim or leap. Yet it whispered softly, calling them to trust. Phoebe dipped her hand, sparks clinging like fireflies. She laughed. It feels like warmth and hope. Callias stood uneasy. The eagle's visions, heavy in his heart. The water stirred. From its depths rose figures of light. They were tall and graceful, eyes deep as the night sky. One stepped forward. Travelers, you stand at the crossing of worlds. This river divides what was from what is to come. Lysandra bowed. We seek the way of the Dawnstorm. Will you grant us passage? The figure's voice was calm. Passage is not denied, but neither is it free. To cross, you must surrender what anchors you most. The river will carry it away. Theon clenched his fists. Give up what anchors us. What does that mean? Selene's voice was steady. We must let go fear, pride, perhaps memory. Phoebe frowned. But if we let go too much, will we still be ourselves? The figure only said, the river knows. Trust. Theon stepped first, casting his shell pendant into the current. The water glowed as it sank, accepting his gift. Selene pressed her palm to the flow, whispering words of loss. The river carried them away. Her face grew lighter, touched with sorrow and peace. Phoebe unclasped her ribbon, letting it drift downstream. Her eyes shone, but she smiled. Lysandra touched her staff to the water, giving no object, only a vow. The river honored her silence. At last, Callias stepped forward, heart trembling. He removed the bronze clasp from his cloak, a gift from his father. He placed it gently into the water. It glowed, then sank. A weight lifted from him, yet a hollow remained. The figures nodded. You have given. Now you may cross. A bridge appeared, woven from silver sparks glowing like moonlight. They stepped onto it, one by one. The bridge held firm, though it felt like walking on air. Each step left ripples of light. Phoebe laughed with wonder. It's like walking on the stars. Callias came last, heavy yet resolved. They reached the far side. The bridge dissolved behind them. The river flowed on, endless and bright. The figures faded, their voices soft. What you leave shapes what you may become. Walk onward. The chamber grew quiet again, save for the river's song. Together they stood, lighter, yet more bound than ever. And so they pressed on, the river of starlight behind them, its promise glowing within. The path beyond the river of starlight narrowed into a winding corridor. The air changed, soft, fragrant, filled with the scent of blossoms unseen. Phoebe breathed deeply. It smells like spring, she said, though no flowers were near. The walls parted, revealing a hidden garden glowing in the mountain's heart. Tall silver trees reached upward, branches heavy with moonlit blossoms. Meadows spread wide, dotted with flowers in shifting hues, some whispering faint voices. At the center stood a crystal sundial, its shadow frozen. Time paused. Selene's voice was hushed. This is the Garden of Forgotten Time. Lost moments linger here. Theon frowned. A place where time hides. I don't trust it. Callias paused by a tree. In its blossoms, he saw his childhood return, his father guiding the plow, his mother calling him home. Then it faded. Phoebe skipped through the grass, her laughter echoed by her own baby voice. She stopped, startled. It's me! The garden remembers me! Selene touched a glowing blossom, and she stood young again by the sea. A tear slid down her cheek as the vision dissolved. Lysandra rested her hand on the sundial. She saw old apprentices smiling, long forgotten. Theon saw lost shipmates calling his name. He reached, but they vanished. He clenched his jaw. This place gives and takes. It's cruel. Lysandra shook her head. It does not take. It reminds. Memory still lives. The hum of the Dawnstorm returned, faint, steady like a heartbeat. The sundial glowed. Its shadow moving at last. Phoebe pointed, eyes wide. It's moving. The garden is showing us more. Light from the sundial spread across the meadow, revealing a crystal path. They followed it to an arch woven of living branches and blossoms like stars. Visions appeared inside the arch, not of past, but of what may come. Storms of fire and shadow, yet also a high peak, shining with light. Callias whispered, "It shows trial and triumph. The choice is ours." The visions blurred, then sharpened. The eagle remained, waiting within the arch. Selene bowed. "The garden shows who we were, and what we may become." Theon's voice grew firm. "If time cannot bind us, no storm will break us." Phoebe squeezed Callias' hand. "The eagle is waiting. Let's go." They stepped beneath the arch together. The blossoms whispered like voices of loved ones, soft with blessing. The garden faded, scents and visions dissolving into rushing air. They stood again in stone passages, thunder humming in the mountain's bones. The garden was gone, but its memory stayed with them. Callias whispered, "We carry it with us now, all of it." The hum of the dawnstorm grew louder, guiding them deeper into its mystery. The path climbed higher, winding upward through stone, alive with thunder. Each step echoed, carrying them closer to the heart of Zeus's mystery. The air thinned, glowing with silver and gold currents of living light. Lightning no longer struck above it, flowed beside them like rivers of fire. Callias reached out and felt warmth, not shock. The storm knew him. Phoebe's hair lifted, glowing faintly. She laughed. "It tickles," she whispered. Theon frowned but softened as colors shimmered beyond mortal skies. The tunnel ended. They stepped onto a vast plateau above the world. There, the dawnstorm revealed itself. A living veil stretched across heaven. It swirled in shapes both human and divine, glowing with eternal fire. An eagle soared through it, wings vast as the horizon. Thunder rolled with each beat of its mighty wings. Phoebe gasped. "It's beautiful." Her whisper carried through the silence. Selene bowed low. "This is no storm, it is the breath of Zeus." The veil rippled, showing visions of balance, gift, and warning intertwined. Villages saved by rain, ships guided by sudden wind. Then, deserts burned, floods rose. Storms raged with fire and shadow. Lysandra trembled. Creation and destruction, balance of the world. Theon demanded, "Why us? What are we meant to do here?" The eagle circled low. Lightning spiraled into words felt in their hearts. Asterisk. "Bear the storm as stewards. Carry its fire as light, not weapon." Asterisk. Callias bowed. "We are chosen to carry the Dawnstorm's message." The storm roared. The plateau shook, but only in affirmation. Phoebe's eyes shone with tears. "We must return and tell them." Selene's voice was firm. "The storm is not curse, but covenant." Shoulder to shoulder they stood, faces turned toward the blazing veil. Tendrils of radiance touched each heart, leaving warmth and sacred mark. Lysandra whispered, "We are changed forever." Theon sighed. "No one will believe us." Callias smiled. "They don't need belief. The skies will show them." The eagle soared higher, wings vanishing into the radiant veil. Thunder rolled one final time, strong and steady, a farewell. The companions turned back, ready for the long descent. Behind them, the dawnstorm flared brighter, casting light across the world. They knew trials awaited, yet peace filled their steps. For the dawnstorm was not the end. It was the beginning. Each carried within a spark of Zeus's breath, a promise of light.